a warm welcome to all those tuning in to People's Editor. I'm Smita Sharma. We will talk about that arrest of the Congress MLA from Gujarat, Vignesh up ahead on the show. But let's start with our focus on yet another custodial death case that has now emerged once again from the state of Tamil Nadu. The family of a 25-year-old man in Chennai has alleged that he died due to custodial torture at the G5 Secretariat Colony police station. Vignesh was a resident of Pattinapakkam. He used to offer horse rides at Chennai's Marina Beach. He was stopped by the police along with another man on 18th of April. The family says they were not informed of Vignesh's death and only got to know through media. The family was not allowed reportedly to see the body when they reached the station, and the police made them wait for several hours. Now, Vignesh's brother has accused that when he saw his brother's body, he found multiple injuries on his face and arms, allegedly from custodial torture. Police, however, claim that Vignesh had developed health complications and had a seizure. A judicial probe has now been ordered into the incident. First up, let's listen into what the family of Vignesh had to say.
மாதிரி குடுக்கலக்கா நாங்க எது பேச முடியல அதனால எங்களுக்கு குடுக்கல அவங்களே டைரக்டா சுடுகாட்டுக்கு எடுத்துன்னு போற மாதிரி காலையில நான் கொஞ்சம் 10 மணிக்கு வரதுக்கு முன்னாடி அவங்க வண்டியில இட்டு போனாங்க இட்டுன்னு போய் அவங்க சுடுகாட்டுக்கு போயிட்டு எல்லாம் கொடுத்துட்டு எடுத்துட்டு வந்திருக்காங்க அவங்க வந்த பிறகுதான் எனக்கு தெரியும் என்னடா ஏன்டா கையில கொடுக்க மாட்டாங்க நம்ம வீட்டாண்ட வச்சு எடுத்துட்டு போலாம்னா இல்ல தரமாட்டேன்ட்டாங்க நம்ம வீடு வாசல் தரமாட்டேன்ட்டாங்க அதனால டைரக்டா சுடுகாட்டுல எடுத்துன்னு போய் அவங்க சொன்னாங்க சுடுகாட்டுல எடுத்துன்னு போய் வைக்கிறாங்க விஜய் சொல்றான் நமக்கு 4 பேர் கேட்டோம்னா சொல்லுவாங்கல்ல சண்டை போட்டுக்கிறாங்க வெளியே இருந்தாவது பேசலாம் கொடுக்க மாட்டேன்னு சொல்லுவாங்க அப்படின்னு சொல்லி எங்க அம்மா கத்தினுக்குறாங்க என்னையா சீட்டும் போலாம் அவன் என்ன உட்கார வச்சுட்டு போயிட்டானே அவங்க ஸ்டேஷன் உள்ள உட்காந்தாங்க அவங்களால எதுவும் பேச இன்னமும் முளைப்புறாங்க உள்ள ஒண்ணுமே புரியல சார் எங்களுக்கு வெளியே அவங்க அம்மாவே வெளியே உள்ள சார் யாரையும் போனா நீங்க போங்க எங்க அம்மா தான் அவனோட அத்தை எங்க அம்மா தான் அவனோட அத்தை இறந்தா பாத்தீங்களா அந்த பையனோட அத்தை யாரும் அவனுக்கு சொந்த பந்தம் யாரும் கிடையாது அவங்க பெரியமா பெரியப்பா இருக்காங்க அவங்க வரல பெரியமா பெரியப்பா வரல எதுக்கும் வரமாட்டாங்க அவங்க எல்லாத்துக்கும் எங்க அம்மா தான் ஓடிடுவாங்க பசங்களுக்கு எதிரானா இப்ப இந்த மாதிரி சொல்லுவேன் எங்க அம்மா காலையில வந்தாங்க பாருங்க ஆபத்துல பேசணும் போனாங்க ரிட்டர்ன் வரவே இல்லை வெளியே இவ்வளவு நேரம் ஆயிரம் வெளியே வரல கேட்டா அனுப்புவாங்க
Okay, so clearly it's a very, very traumatized family at this point in time that is seeking justice. A judicial probe has been ordered into the incident. But how do we look at these cases of alleged custodial torture that seem to be emerging from the state again and again? I'm joined on the show by Mr. Henri Tiphagne. He's an executive director for People's Watch and the National Secretary for Human Rights Defenders Alert India. Also, Ms. Sudha Ramalingam, who's a senior advocate, she is joining us. Mr. Henri Tiphagne, if I could start with you, what do you feel are the loopholes here in the police's theory, or the claims that they are making that this boy suddenly developed health complications, somebody who actually was 25-year-old giving horse rides on Marina Beach in Chennai?
Now, you see, this is once again a case of the poorest of the poor of Chennai city who have been found in the middle of the night. And the allegations made in the press release of the Chennai police are quite frightening because they talk about this boy who works on the Marina Beach giving horse rides, having had a knife with him. I can understand he could have been under the influence of liquor. I can understand he could also be drugged. These are very, very common things which we in society may not approve of, but boys of that type definitely are addicted to such practices. But this is happening when the Tamil Nadu Assembly is in session. The 18th was the session of the Tamil Nadu Legislative Assembly. And when the session is in place, the police all know that every person in custody is informed to the highest police officer of that particular place. Now, this is Chennai city. This is the police station of the Secretariat. G5 is the Secretariat police station.
Right.
Now, it is unbelievable that the night rounds police did not know that 4 police officers had arrested both of them in the night. Now, if they were under the influence of liquor, they should have been produced before the hospital. Now, if they had injuries when they were arrested, they should have been produced before the hospital again for those injuries to be attended to. They have been taken to the police station. Now, when they were taken to the police station, the higher-ups should have been informed. The night rounds officers of that area, there would have been an AC in charge for the night rounds. There should have been a DC in charge for the night rounds. These are all routinely done. And all this during assembly is informed to the Commissioner of Police. I am ashamed, totally ashamed, that the Chennai police have to bow down their heads in shame, and not only them, but all the political parties in the assembly, for a custodial death to take place in the Secretariat police station and take place on the 18th April night, and no discussion in the assembly on the 19th, and hurriedly the disposal has taken place.
Okay.
Now, what is important is, this is at the doorstep of the High Court, and it is categorically clear that the High Court has said that in matters where people die in custody for any reason whatsoever, the first thing that has to be done is that they have to show the body to the kith and kin, and it is only when the kith and kin have seen the body that the postmortem can start.
You know, that's a very important point you've raised, Mr. Tiphagne, and let me take that question to Ms. Sudha Ramalingam, because, you know, ma'am, despite those High Court guidelines, in this case, again, we see a similar narrative where the family says they were not even allowed to see the body of this dead boy. You know, so where does this audacity kind of come in from again and again? How is this following the due process of law?
Absolutely, there is no due process of law at all. Whatever Henri Tiphagne said was all absolutely right. And what is very shocking is that there is absolutely no voice raised against this at all. You know, when the assembly is sitting, no opposition leader seems to have even asked about it. This very same chief minister who made a very loud noise when the Benix case happened, why is he quiet now? And not what they should register is register the case of 302, murder, and what they register now is only suspicious death, and not showing the body to the relations is really disastrous. It is definitely very shocking, and this is the routine thing which is happening. So bureaucracy never changes. It's only the politicians who change, but the face of the state does not change, because the bureaucracy is the same, and they have general apathy. They do not really think of people as people. The police is still in its own colonial mindset. It does not think they are here to protect people. They are here only to ensure that the VVIPs get their security and not the common man. And Tamil Nadu is now ranking second in custodial deaths.
Yes.
And no one seems to be thinking about it. The mainstream media has not taken it up seriously at all.
You know, that's why it's our effort to try and raise these issues on our platform here on India Ahead, ma'am, to make sure that what misses out on primetime TV across traditional mainstream media, it is never missed out on India Ahead. But, you know, also coming to the question, Jairaj Benix in 2020, this year alone, Ms. Ramalingam, we have seen similar cases happen in January. Again, in April, there have been no answers in those cases. Are we looking at a specific timeline even for this judicial probe? Where does the hope for justice for this family stand?
Absolutely. What is the National Human Rights Commission doing? What is the State Human Rights Commission doing? What is the judiciary doing? The judiciary can also take it up so moto, just like they did in the Benix case. This has not happened at all. Here is a case of a poor man, a man who was just riding horses in the marina, belongs to, they say, a Dalit community. So he is one of the poorest person from a very poor background, nobody to raise voice for them. And the general judiciary is quiet, human rights commissions are quiet, the opposition party is quiet. Except for News Minute, nobody else really took it up very seriously. Others have reported the case just as the police version was reported, not a real version of the reporters going and probing into the case at all.
Right.
So, it's really very pathetic. We are still with the colonial mindset, and the police thinks they can do anything, and no one seems to be responsible for this. Nobody is even suspect. The minimum courtesy demands that at least some officer is being suspended from service for a short time. Even that's not done.
Right,
Nothing is
even
happening
the
here.
base minimum processes of at least suspension subject to investigation, that doesn't
Yes.
happen anymore. That there seems to be a thick-skinned approach in such cases. Mr. Henri Tiphagne, you know, I'm looking at the numbers, we are playing it out on the screen of custodial deaths nationwide. In the 2 decades from 2001 to 2020, of the 1,888 custodial deaths, 893 cases registered against police personnel, 358 police personnel were charge sheeted, but only 26 policemen were convicted of so many cases in 20 years. This is the NCRB data. So, you know, the law, the ones who are supposed to protect the law have been breaking the law and also being shielded by the law.
Now let me, you are giving the national figures up to 20. Let me give this state's figures in 21, 22. Since this government took over, from July till April, we have had custodial deaths in Coimbatore, in Karumattampatti police station. We have had in Tanjavur, in the Tanjavur West police station. We have had in Namakkal, where Manikandan died in the Velur police station. In December, we had it in Ramanathapuram, Manikandan, in a Kilattuval police station. In January 13th, we had the custodial death of a crawling disabled. Shame on this government. A crawling disabled Prabhakar, who was taken from Salem district, brought in Namakkal, and then died in custodial in the hospital due to torture. Tirunelveli, Suleiman in Palankote High Ground Police Station. Tirunelveli, Tadiveeran in Tirunelveli Talik Police Station. And Vignesh today in Chennai in the Secretariat Police Station. Now, the question is that post-mortem has to be done in the presence of the judicial magistrate because it's a 176(1)A case. What was the judicial magistrate doing? And I think it is time we move our fingers not only from the police, we have to move it towards the judicial magistrates. Just as in Satangulam, the High Court of Madras is responsible for ensuring that Saravanan magistrate was not touched. Here also, in Vignesh's matter, on the 19th when the post-mortem was ready to take place, that magistrate should have ensured that Vignesh's family saw the body.
Yes.
That Vignesh's family should have been allowed to take a photograph of the body. Vignesh's family should have been asked to ask the doctors there to turn the body and again take photographs. This is the mandate of judgment of the Madras High Court in Santosh's case in December 2020. One of the historic judgments that we have here. But total impunity.
Absolutely.
And impunity under the nose of the Tamil Nadu legislature, where the CM has remained silent, opposition leaders have remained silent. And I say it with lots of pain, political parties, many of the political parties who are in alliance with the government, who are all together in Venix and Jayaraj's case have remained silent. What is happening? Why is the High Court silent? Why have they not taken it suo moto? It happens under their nose. Why has the State Legal Services Authority remained silent?
Okay,
Why
Mr.
has the
Henri
State
Tiphagne,
Human Rights Commission remained silent?
Absolutely. Very crucial questions that you have raised, and it is appalling. This deafening silence of the ruling party to the opposition, and also this impunity that you talked about. Mr. Tiphagne, Ms. Sudha Ramalingam, many thanks for joining us. Our heart goes out to the family of this young man. We can only hope that there is some justice at some point, and just because somebody is poor, lives are not treated in such a cheap manner in this country or in any state of this nation itself. Thank you so much for joining us here on this focus as far as the broadcast is concerned. We're slipping into a very quick break. Do stay with us.